Hello everybody, welcome back. This is part 3 of this 3-part video series, the covering and reducing of the cane. Okay, now you can see I'm making some more adjustments to the body before I surround it in greenish clay. Thinning it out a little. Okay, here you can see how the head is going to attach. And I feel the size is proper. Okay, I've started surrounding it. I typically use layers of clay to surround it. Again, being careful to make sure there's no air pockets. It's always easier to slice areas as flat as make the plane of the area as flat as you can. You know, as long as you're not going to slice into the actual animal. So again, this is just going to be a building process. Just layer after layer is added, and where chunks, where, you know, like a wedge shape could be put in between the kind of the upper coil part of the body. But a lot of times it's almost as quick just to keep going with the layers. I've got it perched on a kind of a sandstone rock here. I ended up with this color mixing together some various reds and yellows, and ended up with a relatively nice orange color. My giant roller is great for rolling out large pieces of parallel thickness clay. It's slightly thicker. It's probably an 1/8 inch thick, which I believe is thicker than the #1 setting on a standard pasta maker, which I'm happy with because it makes the process go a little quicker as well. Here the cane is basically ready to be reduced. It ended up around 9 by 9 by 5 and about 16 pounds. So now I'm just going to begin compressing the cane to start off with. Typically I'd like it to be a little bit thicker for how how wide it is, wide and tall. I found that melamine, melamine and your own body weight can get you started off on squashing down the cane. As you can see, the tan color ended up being a little softer than some of the other colors, and so it wants to reduce quicker, which isn't ideal. So I had to keep squeezing that part back in. And you just want to make sure that you just keep turning it so that you don't end up with a funky shape. And this entire reduction process took around an hour, I believe. So now it's been lengthened and reduced in height and width. the depth increased. Once you can get a hold of the ends, typically I just like to kind of stretch it, but it's quite large, still needs to be reduced more before that can be achieved. And once you get to a point, you can't really tell what's going on inside the cane because the ends are too distorted to see what's happening. And you don't want to cut it at this point because you'll lose a lot more of the cane due to end distortion. But once you get a cane to start reducing, typically it's best to reduce most of it down to the size you want because it's warmed up. The clay has been conditioned, but here's part of it. Now I'll just keep on reducing down, stretching and compressing. Right here I'm cutting off basically the distorted ends. End up with probably around maybe 70% of good non-distorted cane and about 30% of distorted ends. On a cane this large, it should last me a couple years, even using large quantities on big pieces. I like to stretch the life out of any of my unique canes. I have some that date back to around 2002, just tiny, a few slices of each one. And here you can see it reduced further. Camera doesn't zoom in real well, so sorry about the quality of that. And that's it. Basically, the cane is finished. Hope you enjoyed.